Welcome to part 2 of the personal finance series. In my previous video, I briefly explained and listed the 4 pillars of finance, with budgeting being one of the key pillars. Budgeting can be overwhelming, and at times we also overcomplicate the process, which leads us to not maintaining and sticking to our budget. In today's video, I will provide some clarity on budgeting as a whole by going through the following key principles: why budgeting matters, how to set financial goals, how to track your expenses, and also common budgeting mistakes and how to avoid them. Research done by Sanlam in 2023 through the Sanlam Financial Confidence Index indicated that 81% of South Africans that were surveyed experienced stress when managing their personal finances. Only 35% of South Africans trusted their financial abilities, and just 17% don't experience unhappiness when it comes to their current financial situation. With that being said, why does budgeting matter? As financial guru Dave Ramsey wisely puts it, a budget is telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. In its simplest form, budgeting is about taking control of your money rather than letting it control you. By creating a budget, you can gain clarity, as a budget helps you understand where your money is coming from and where it's going, and it also gives you a clearer picture of your financial landscape. Budgeting also allows you to achieve your goals, whether it's buying a home, paying off debt, starting a business, living your best life, and going on that long-awaited vacation, or just enjoying a stress-free retirement. A budget turns dreams into actionable plans. It also reduces financial stress. So with peace of mind comes with knowing that you have a financial plan and an emergency fund in case anything happens. And it also helps you to build a future, which allows you to allocate funds for saving and investments, ensuring long-term financial growth. As you now know why a budget matters, the next step is to budget effectively. Effective budgeting begins with defining your financial goals, and I would recommend breaking them into 3 categories. Firstly, short-term goals, medium-term goals, and long-term goals. Short-term goals are achievable within a few months to a year, such as saving funds for car repair or weekend getaway, whereas medium-term goals typically spans over 1 to 5 years. These might include paying off high-interest credit card debt or saving for a wedding. Long-term goals are goals that require planning for over several years or decades, such as buying a house, building a retirement fund, or creating a college savings plan for children. When setting these goals, try using the SMART method. SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. For example, instead of saying, "I want to save money," frame it as, "I will save 2,000 Rand per month for the next 6 months to purchase a new laptop." It also depends on the type of laptop that you want, and obviously you might want to save more, but you get the gist of it. We now know what the budget is, and we also know that we have to set financial goals. Our next step now is to understand our spending habits, and that you do by tracking every rand or dollar you spend to identify areas where you can cut back and redirect funds toward your goals. A few easy ways to do this is by doing the following. Daily tracking. So keep a record of all your expenses. Categorize it into essentials like rent, groceries, utilities, and non-essentials like your entertainment, dining out, for example. Do a monthly review. At the end of each month, analyze your spending patterns to spot trends and identify opportunities where you can save. You can also use technology. For example, in South Africa, we have these functionalities that's built into our banking apps. So I would leverage apps like Nedbank's Money Tracker or 24/7, which is also another popular budgeting app in South Africa. And you can use these to automate expense tracking and gain insights into your financial habits. So to just give you a real-life example, I recently discovered that through tracking my expenses that I spend close to 1,500 on subscriptions such as DStv, Netflix, Amazon Prime, Spotify, etc. etc. I don't watch TV that often anymore and mainly just have DStv for sport, so I cancel some of them, and in turn it saved me close to 800 Rand a month or 9,600 per year, which I can now use to add to my emergency fund. So these savings might seem small at first, but they do add up over time. So we've now looked at why budgeting matters, setting financial goals, and tracking our expenses. But there's also a few common mistakes that we have to try and avoid when it comes to budgeting, such as overlooking small expenses. So things like small, frequent expenditures like daily coffee runs or subscriptions can add up significantly over time. So I would say track even the tiniest of outflows at first. Setting unrealistic budgets. Be realistic about your spending habits. If groceries cost 3,000 Rand a month, don't just allocate 2,000 Rand and expect to stick to it. You're setting yourself up for failure, so be realistic. Failing to prioritize savings. Treat savings as a fixed expense, just like rent or utilities. Use the pay yourself first principle by setting aside a portion of your income for savings before spending on anything else. For example, let's use the popular 50-30-20 rule, which is essentially using 50% of your income on essentials such as rent, groceries, utilities, and 30% on dining out, entertainment, and 20% on savings and investments and paying off those high interest debt. It's also important to note that this rule was coined back in 2005, so there's quite a lot that has happened in terms of rising debt costs, inflationary increases, and an overall increase in your cost of living. So depending on your financial situation, these percentages might look different. For example, for you it might look a little like 70-20-10, but it's a good starting point to allocate percentages to each of these buckets. The last one is failing to reflect, and I think this is probably the most important one. There is no use that you track your expenses, you set your goals, and you don't reflect each month on how your funds were spent. This allows you to constantly make changes to your budget and track your progress. So interrogate why you overspend and underinvest your funds. And always remember that routines create rhythm, rhythm creates habits, and habits creates freedom. I'd love to hear your feedback and know what methods you're using to track your finances that allows you to get one step closer to financial freedom. Thanks again for watching, and see you soon.